Jerry Jones was all over the map as usual yesterday at the Senior Bowl, double talking, sidestepping about whether he'll extend Dak Prescott's contract. Jerry basically said Dak's deal is one of many that must be addressed. So maybe this time he wants Dak to agree to a team-friendly extension. Good luck with that. But in the end yesterday, Jerry just kept repeating, "We'll go as far as Dak takes us. We'll go as far as Dak takes us," which has been to playoff shame the last 3 years as Dak has fallen to 2-5 in the postseason. So, Keyshawn, just stick the knife in me if you want to. How many more years do you believe Dak Prescott will be the Dallas Cowboys starting quarterback?
Until he retires. He will be the Dallas Cowboys starting quarterback until he decides not to play football in the next
45 maybe? Or
6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years.
10 years.
He's there to stay, Skip.
Yep.
You can't get better. I don't know how many times I got to knock you in the head to get you to understand this. You cannot get better.
Really?
Okay, not only that, financially, it's a $6 million cap hit on his last year of his deal. You've got to get CeeDee Lamb taken care of before you do Dak. And the reason you got to do CeeDee Lamb first is so that now those cap charges, those numbers come down.
I agree.
So you do that. You take care of Micah Parsons so that cap numbers come down. Now you work on Dak Prescott's extension. He's one of the top quarterbacks in the National Football League, man. You think about it. He's in the last year of a 4-year, $160 million deal with a cap charge of close to $60 million. If you do anything other than renegotiate his deal, extend him out, and move forward, who are you going to get that's better? You keep screaming, whoa, try it with Trey Lance, try it. Come on, man. So you want to get a new coach and a new quarterback and set the franchise back another 10 years.
Well,
that's what you want to do.
Maybe you wouldn't. Maybe you'd speed it up 10 years.
Oh, so you think you'd speed it up?
Well, how do you know? Well, look what the 49ers did.
Because they didn't get a new coach.
They got a new quarterback.
They got a new quarterback.
Yeah. So draft a quarterback in the 7th round and play him, Skip.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what you do.
Well, they
like
did
Richard
it.
said,
They pulled
you
it
should
off.
take a quarterback in the 7th round and play.
It off.
Oh, maybe take Tom Brady in the 6th round. That'll fall right in your lap,
so
too.
Did you blast Kyle Shanahan and John Lynch for saying no more Jimmy G after he took you within a half a quarter of a Super Bowl championship? I mean, did you blast?
Did I blast him?
Yeah.
No, because they played Jimmy G until they didn't anymore. They played Jimmy G, they played Jimmy G, they played Jimmy G, and then they went with Trey Lance the next year. He wasn't ready. He got injured. Then they had to go back to Jimmy G, and then they had to go to Brock Purdy. So, no, I didn't blast him because they gave Jimmy G his runway. They also didn't allow the outside noise to get in. He judged off what he did. Jimmy G was never a all-pro quarterback, was never, a franchise quarterback where you're talking about Pro Bowls and all-pros like they are with Dak Prescott. He hadn't been that for the San Francisco 49ers. He hadn't got those accolades. And so when you're talking about Dak Prescott, Skip, to Key's point, let me know, outside of Patrick Mahomes, who you picking, Skip? Who you want? Because you're not making sense where when you're saying Trey Lance and unproven guys. Yeah, so you want unproven. I guess that makes sense for if Bayless when you're talking about if this happens, if that happens, it's hypotheticals. But what if
I got
he's
stats
awful?
here.
What if he's awful?
Let me go ahead.
Wait a second. Dak has been awful. Every time he's been asked with expectations to go win a playoff game, he has been below awful, worse than awful.
Let me break this down for you real simple and clean, Skip. You ain't getting Josh Allen, okay? You're not getting him. You're not getting Tua. You're not getting him.
I hope not.
Okay, well, I'm just saying. I'm just giving you that. You're not getting Joe Burrow, Lamar Jackson, Patrick Mahomes, Justin Herbert, okay? You're not getting those guys. You're not getting Trevor Lawrence. It's not happening. So if
how did all those franchises get their guy? I don't know.
They drafted
figured it out.
They drafted him the same way. They drafted him the same way y'all drafted Dak.
And they were really, they were really bad.
In all those teams,
they were really bad.
All those guys went higher than Dak Prescott. All those are first-round picks.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
So right now, Dak Prescott is not a first-round pick talent to you. Is that what you're telling me? Because if you're telling me that, you don't know what you're looking at, Skip. You do not know what you're looking at if you're telling me that.
Is he Roger Staubach? Is he Troy Aikman? Well, is he? I don't know.
Can I talk to you? Can I talk to you, Skip? Because I want to understand
I'm not
this.
Jerry Rice, but I was pretty damn good.
You're better
Even
than
if you
Dak
wanted,
is.
even if you wanted, say you wanted Josh Allen. Skip, what does Josh Allen want? Nothing.
Okay.
So even if you wanted Joe Burrow,
I'll take him.
You'll take him, and you'll be in the same position you're in, the same frustrations you're in, because he hasn't won anything. He hasn't even been to a Super Bowl. He's not an all-pro quarterback this year.
I'll check that box.
I checked that. I checked that. Then you say Joe Burrow. You say, I take Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow has not been healthy. He's been healthy for 2 seasons, so he's barely on the field. So you can sit there and we'll check that box.
I'm checking the boxes because he's right about everything he said. So I'm just going to check the box.
Wait a second. You're saying you would take Dak Prescott over Joe Burrow? Is that what you said?
I personally like Dak Prescott.
Yeah.
I don't believe you.
Skip, you're not being logical, because you're not, like, the best ability in the National Football League is availability.
Availability is the best ability. You cannot help the club in the tub all the time.
Okay.
Not only that, if we really break it all the way down, his magical carpet ride to the Super Bowl, the Raiders should have won that game. Okay, he steps out of bounds and everybody stops, a whistle blow, he throws a touchdown. But I don't want to discredit Joe Burrow. I'm just saying,
come on,
magic carpet ride to the Super Bowl.
It was
a magic carpet ride.
He went to Mahomes and beat him in his own stadium. I mean,
he beat Mahomes.
Yeah. Right.
Okay, he beat Mahomes.
That's 100% true.
Okay, he beat him.
That's true, Skip, but what I'm saying is,
he went to San Francisco this year and just took them apart.
This year. And then San Francisco's doing in the Super Bowl.
Okay,
they're in the Super Bowl, and his season ended, Skip, with him not completing this season for the second time in his career. Missed multiple games. So would you rather have a quarterback that isn't there to even take your team to the playoffs, or would you rather a quarterback who's been there to play every single game your team is asking him to play? Pretty much. I mean, he had that one season where he got a little banged up early, but for the most part.
Are we talking about Dak Prescott? He's had multiple seasons where he's missed multiple games.
He had the one season. He had the one season where he broke his ankle, and then he hurt his finger on a helmet.
Yeah,
okay, missed a couple games and came back and played okay.
He missed a bunch. Last year he missed, again, Brady went in and outplayed him in the opener, right? And then he missed, what was it, 6 games when Cooper Rush took over?
You want to go ahead, start Cooper Rush. That worked out just fine for you.
Cooper Rush was really good.
Yeah, you should campaign for Cooper Rush to be the starting quarterback.
Right now, I would take Cooper Rush. Okay. I would love to see what Trey Lance could do, because once upon a time, the 2 smartest minds in football, the Shanahans, said, that's
the guy.
him.
And then guess what they did after that? They got real smart and said, that's not the guy.
Well, because they got real lucky, because the other guy fell right into their laps in the last pick in the draft, right?
But they made that assessment. But they made that assessment based on practice.
Yeah.
Because Brock Purdy hadn't played in any games until he had to play in games, and they made that assessment at that point in time based on practice that Trey Lance wasn't it. Not in games.
I can't believe we're having this conversation about a quarterback that made the All-Pro this year.
Because he doesn't like him.
He doesn't like him.
He doesn't like him.
Keith, there's not one quarterback in this league right now that is in the elite category that has done more outside of Patrick Mahomes.
Man,
Lamar has the 2 MVPs.
Tell that to him.
I'm telling him.
You want to know what's really going on here? I'm going to tell our audience what's really operating here. These two don't like the Dallas Cowboys, so they want a quarterback they know will fail when the lights are brightest, so that they know they don't have to come in here and take me after the Cowboys march to the NFC Championship game with a real quarterback, because we don't have a real playoff quarterback. That's the truth.
So to our viewers, we have a delusional Skip Bayless who doesn't realize he has an all-pro quarterback. He doesn't realize that every other quarterback has folded up in the bright lights. Lamar lost this year. Josh Allen lost this year. Everybody lost this year except for Patrick Mahomes and Brock Purdy, who are in the Super Bowl. But for some reason, Skip thinks a backup quarterback, anybody but Dak Prescott, can win in the playoffs. And when they don't, he'll say the same thing.
You really know football. So what happened when your 49ers went to Dallas 2 years ago? What happened in that game? Help me out. How did Dak perform in that game? What happened?
He actually performed solid, and then he got down the field, and then they ran out of time.
Well, wait, he had a QBR 32 in that game. That scale is 0 to 100. He was awful in that game. They were down 23-7 going to the fourth quarter, and they were favored in a home playoff game. Seriously?
And they had a chance at the end, didn't they?
Yeah, and he didn't get down fast enough to get the clock stopped. Thank you. Richard, hold on. Richard, how did Dak Prescott play against your 49ers out there going back 2 playoffs ago? How did he play?
He struggled. He had 2 interceptions, I want to say, in the red zone.
Yeah. How did he play against Green Bay in the first half of a home playoff game in which they were favored by 7.5? How did he play?
Don't do it. Don't do it.
How did he play? I need to know. This is the third one. I need to know.
Every single quarterback.
Hey.
Skip, I can do this on every single quarterback.
Third time's not the charm.
How many Super Bowls? How many Super Bowls have Trey Lance been to? Skip, 0. How many Super Bowls has Cooper Rush been to? Skip, 0. How many Super Bowls has Josh Allen been to? Skip, 0. How many Super Bowls has Lamar Jackson been to? Skip, 0. Like I'm going to go on and on because you want to replace these guys, but you can't tell me that they've done more.
You know, I'm not the biggest Josh Allen guy, but I got to defend him. I thought he outplayed Mahomes in that game. His kicker missed a 41-yard field goal, or we might be having a real different conversation. And by the way, Bill Belichick, the greatest coach ever, took his team to Josh Allen once upon a time, and it was 37-17 because Josh Allen's offense never had to punt. They scored every time they had the ball on the greatest defensive mind in the history of football.
Yeah, that's
okay.
Fine.
You got to give it up.
If we're talking random points, then Dak Prescott beat Tom Brady. Yeah. I mean, we can make random points.
Yeah, nobody is saying that Josh Allen can't win football games. Skip, nobody is saying that. But I would say to you, you ran down his playoff success, right? You just told me about Dak. I listened to you. Tell me how he
failures.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you would take Peyton Manning too, wouldn't you? You would take Peyton Manning at the same portion in his career as Dak Prescott. You would take him, but you would take him based on the finished product, not the beginning to where Dak is. Because Peyton Manning didn't win. Almost made me cuss. Peyton Manning didn't win anything at all for a while.
Well,
but you would take him.
all about it. No,
you would take him.
Well, he's the first pick in the draft.
Yeah, yeah. Because that's exactly. What Richard Sherman is just saying about where you drafted at, because he was the first pick in the draft. But he didn't win playoff games for a while.
Okay, but you know the outcome. It's easy.
Okay,
right?
You know it.
You know the rest of the story.
It's easy.
Yeah.
Same thing with Lamar Jackson. Lamar, I would take Lamar over most quarterbacks in the National Football League.
In a heartbeat.
But guess what though? He hasn't finished the deal though, Skip.
Yeah.
It's the same thing.
So trust me on this.
It's the same thing.
A young Jerry Jones at age 50, early in his Cowboy tenure, he would be replacing Dak Prescott as we speak. He would plunge.
Well, why he didn't replace Tony Romo?
Okay. Well, he did with Dak Prescott. I mean,
after Tony got Wally pipped, I would replace him too.
No, but I mean, Tony was ready to come back. It was
that's Wally Pipp. Hey, sit tight.
No,
who got you on the back here? That's Wally Pipp.
Okay, but he plunged with Dak at that point, and he was just halfway through his rookie
now
year.
He plunged with him.
Okay, but he's not a plunger anymore. He's a play it safer. He just sits back and says, I'm 12-5, and we're the most valuable team in the world, and people are going to watch us, and we're the biggest draw.
He just says, hey,
he doesn't care.
I have an all-pro quarterback. I have an all-pro quarterback. I can't do much better than that.
Exactly.
Yeah, so let's roll the dice and see if maybe we get lucky one of these years. Maybe Dak accidentally has a good game. Yeah, neither of you guys think he's the answer. Neither of you guys believe
I told you he's the answer.
No,
I've been telling you since day one.
You told me from day one there's something missing. No,
that was about CeeDee Lamb. CeeDee Lamb, I was worried about something missing, but they figured out how to fix that. Dak Prescott, he just needs to get over the hump. Look, you've been watching football a lot longer than me because you're older than me. So you've seen Roger Staubach. My first quarterback of the Dallas Cowboys was Danny White. That was my first quarterback. And then obviously from there on, I've seen everybody from Steve Pillard to Steve Walsh to Rodney Peete. I've seen them all with the Cowboys. What you fail to realize, Skip, is you have one of the best quarterbacks in the National Football League. There's only 2 spots on the All-Pro team. First team, second team.
Okay, so what's your goal?
He got one of them.
Is your goal to win regular season games? Is that it?
The goal is
If
to
it is,
win it.
you
The
got
goal
me.
is to win it all and be the last team standing.
Oh, I see.
But there's only one team.
Yeah.
And right now there's two teams playing for it and two
Yeah.
quarterbacks.
Okay.
Either Brock Purdy will be standing
Yeah.
or Patrick Mahomes will be standing, but it's only going to
Okay.
be one of them,
So-
and you're not getting either one of them.
So to sum this up, I believe Dak will be the quarterback for at least 10 more years, and I guarantee,
Yeah, he will. That's what I told you.
guarantee we will not win a Super Bowl in the next 10 years.
But it
I
won't-
guarantee it.
And it'll be all his fault.
Well, it's always the quarterback. So I mean,
It's always a quarterback because
most
you
important
say it
position.
is.
What's the most important position in sports?
Oh, so it's
you just-
always
he
their
just-
fault, but not
listen,
always their.
Hold on,
Yeah.
hold on, Keith. Because he just said Josh Allen outplayed Patrick Mahomes, but now it's always the quarterback's fault when they lose. But he just said it wasn't the quarterback's fault when they just lost. All right, this just
What?
stuff like that really just.
No.
What he's
Seems-
saying, Skip, is you said it's not Josh Allen's fault that they lost to Kansas City,
Yeah.
but it's Dak Prescott's fault as the quarterback when they lose in Dallas.
Well, it has definitely been his fault in the last 3 playoff losses, and that's undebatable. Yeah, show me it was somebody else's fault.
He's
Show me.
tackling and he's
No. Well, look
Because
at what
he
happened.
gave up 48 points.
Yeah.
He gave up 48 points to the Green Bay Packers. He was on that defense. I thought
Yeah.
I saw him out there trying to tackle.
Yeah.
I
Me too.
did.
He played
You're right,
safety
you're
and
right.
he
know
was a
what?
linebacker.
I did see him throw a pick 6 in the first half. I saw him throw another interception in the first half, and I saw it get to 27 to nothing, in largest part because the quarterback was not ready to play as usual, with the lights the brightest and the expectations the highest. Congratulations to me. I'm stuck with Dak Prescott.
All right, well.
Okay. When Jory Epstein of Yahoo Sports asked Jerry Jones if he has spoken recently to Bill Belichick, Jerry said, I haven't talked to anybody that is a head coaching candidate other than my own. Okay. Then she asked if Belichick will get a head coaching opportunity in the NFL at all. And Jerry said, I don't know. I wouldn't speculate. But when Jory asked Jerry about Belichick in general, this is what Jerry said. I know him personally, and I like him. There's no doubt in my mind we could work together. None, said Jerry Jones. To me, that was a very significant statement from Jerry Jones. But Keyshawn, what do you read into it?
I don't read much into it other than the fact that what Jerry is saying. Jerry says, yeah, they can work together. Of course you know him. How long has Jerry on the team? 30,
89.
30 years or whatever the number
Yep.
is. Bill Belichick has been in the league that long. So, of course, you know him, and you can work with him. You know a lot about him. You know, one of your buddies is Mr. Kraft, so y'all done had conversations about Bill Belichick, whether it's in the past or whether it was just the other day. Y'all certainly have had these discussions about who Belichick is, what Belichick is about, how did he win those Super Bowls, how could we do those things at those tea parties that they have down in Florida when they have a big old party and they hanging out and owners meetings. They're having conversations about their coaches and their front offices and all those things. Could he work with him? Yeah. But what you think is that Jerry Jones is going to fire Mike McCarthy next week when he leaves the Senior Bowl and hire Bill Belichick. That's not where this is going at all. He's just saying, because the question was asked, if it was available, is that somebody that you could work with? That's all he's doing is now.
But
look,
that wasn't the question. He just volunteered that.
Well,
she was just asking about your relationship with him in general, and he made a pointed point. I could work with
But why
him.
would you be asking me that? Why would you be asking me my relationship with somebody? Because you want me to say I can work with him. That's why you're asking me.
But Jerry
Because the
knows there's
rumors-
been rampant
because
speculation,
the rumors was
yeah.
out there.
Yes.
So, yeah, he's answering the
Yeah.
question basically in his own way of doing things. And
Okay.
I have no problem with that. Now, at the end of the season, because this isn't basketball, you're not going to shoehorn him in there in week 4 and Belichick's going to come and save the day. Now, at the end of the season, if Belichick decides that, or somebody doesn't hire him on these next 2 teams between Seattle and Washington, next season, maybe there's an opportunity there, because what he has done is he's hired older coaches that people didn't think. You know, Bill Parcells was in his 60s. Wade Phillips was in his early 60s. He hired them. Now, Belichick's a little older, but he's still able to coach and willing to coach and all those sort of things. But can Jerry Jones stay out the way and allow people to do their job? I think that would be the question if this was to materialize into anything beyond this season.
All right, Richard.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's just Jerry talking. I don't think they could work. I had a lot of egos in one building. Jerry likes control and he likes credit.
Agreed.
And I don't know really take Bill Belichick as a guy who really cares about who gets credit or not, but he does like control. And so you're saying you can get along. That sounds good from 30,000 feet when you're not in the building together and not trying to make this work. But when you're in a situation where both guys feel like they would make the best decision for this team and they need the power to make the decision, it's when things get muddy. And I think that's what happened with Bill Belichick in Atlanta.
Yeah.
I don't think Arthur Blank was willing to give him that much power. He's saying, hey, I want you to coach my team, but that's it. I don't need the rest.
Yeah.
And I think that is where the fork in the road was for that decision making, and that's where things fell apart. At least things are rumored that way, speculation, et cetera, et cetera. Yeah. And I agree. I don't know. It's not relevant right now because they're sticking with McCarthy. So at the end of the day, whether they would have worked or whether they wouldn't work, I don't think we'd ever find out.
Okay, what's relevant to me is that Jerry chose to say this publicly, and sometimes he goes a little wacky and just babbles and just things spill out of his mouth. But there was a reason. It ruffled his feathers. It hurt his pride that the speculation was, oh, they couldn't work together, when there was rampant speculation that maybe he would fire McCarthy and hire Belichick. So Jerry wanted it on the record because he considers himself close friends with Belichick, that he could work with him, but I'm with Richard on this. There is no way they could coexist. There is no way. I'm sorry. I know Jerry.
I honestly think they could coexist.
Okay.
Bill's willing to work with other people. He's worked with other people before. That's why those guys were able to go on and get other jobs from New England. He had sounding board. Those are sounding boards.
Okay, what do you think Coach Parcells would be telling Bill right now if Jerry offered him the job? He'd say, don't take it.
No, he probably would tell him to be careful. One of the things he would say is, oh, God, let me think of the word. What would he say? Well, I can't say what he would say on air.
All right.
I just thought, I can't say that.
No, you can't say that. But what happened?
Keith,
go ahead.
What happened, the sounding boards and having guys that you respect, who you trust their opinions, is much different than Jerry saying, I need to pick this draft pick. I'll tell you who we picking in the first round, and Bill being like, no, I'm going to tell you who we're picking.
But see, Richard, and Skip can speak to this. That's just out there in the universe. That's not what happens. Will Clay and Stephen Jones are the ones kind of orchestrating who, what, when, where, and how. Jerry is the PR machine who has some football knowledge and insight, but Will Clay is really the mastermind behind all those players, just so that you know.
Okay, but in the end, if there is difference of opinion, trust me, Jerry will break the tie.
Well,
especially on the first couple of picks.
But most of the time, it's not we want to take Zach Martin and you want to take somebody else and we're going to go with Zach Martin. It's not like that. It's just not. I've been in that building with them. I've sat through drafts with them. It's not like that. You have to believe me when I tell you that. Everybody says that Jerry is meddling. Jerry is doing this. It's not like that. People think Jerry calling plays from the press box. That's the way people present it.
Okay, but remember, Jerry did go get Terrell Owens when Bill did not want Terrell.
Yeah, and Bill left. And Bill said, I'm out for a month. I'm going down to Jupiter, Florida. Y'all coach the damn team during the off season because y'all not listening. That was then. I don't know that he would do that out the gate with Belichick.
A lot to digest, but we should try somebody new. I mean, we've had Dak for like 8 years, but you never know. Maybe this year it might be different. But I'm tired of going through loopholes as a Cowboys fan. I'm still mad over the loss. But I want to see what Trey Lance got, honestly. I want to see. He might be the answer. He's cheaper. He's a lot cheaper, so we could sign more talent and all that. And then Belichick, I'm cool keeping Mike McCarthy this year just because Belichick hasn't found a job yet. Because low-key, if we don't do good next year, we have a chance to get Belichick. Because I'll still take Belichick. He has way more Super Bowls, way more playoff experience and all that. He lost his last 2 playoff games in a row. But, I mean, we're not doing nothing with Mike McCarthy. Our defense gave up 48 points. 40 technically. in the game besides the pick six. So I don't know. I just want changes. I want changes, and we're not getting changes. So I might not even be as invested, but we'll see once free agency hits.